Claude Skills is one thing I wish every marketer knew about, because once you build them, Claude stops being a tool you have to manage and start being a system. So in this video, I'll show you how to set up your marketing skills stack to automate most of your marketing, from the design process, the actual building, to creating your own Claude skill library. Let's go. The simplest way to think about your marketing skills is to group them into 3 types. Brand skills, define your brand standard. Function skill, cover what marketing tasks you do day to day. Specialty skills, handle the rules of your specific domain. So first, look at your marketing week and reflect on the tasks you do repeatedly. And second, sort them into these 3 skill types. And third, prioritize. Almost every marketing task needs brand skills as the foundation. So build those first and then build your function or specialty skills next. In this video, we're building a campaign workflow system with 8 Claude skills as the example to walk you through all 3 steps. And we'll be using Claude Code through the Claude desktop application. First, let's create the project folder. So in this case, the brand is called Carousel, which is a healthcare SaaS brand. And inside, we will set up the context folder as well as other system folders. And then we also have the campaign folder that store all the campaign outputs. And so next is to make sure you load all the important brand context file inside this context folder. So like the brand context, ICP, marketing strategy. And we will also prepare this Claude.md file that tells Claude how to navigate this project folder. Now open Claude Desktop and click here to switch to Claude Code. And what I like about the new Claude Code Desktop is you can filter by different projects, so you can switch immediately. And then we can just select the Carousel project folder. So the first skills we build is the brand voice skills, and this is a skill that every marketer needs. So I asked it to create a brand voice skill according to the brand voice guide, and then also create different examples to be used as the skill asset. Note, I also asked it to include the versioning, as this will be useful in building our Claude skill library later in this video. And by the way, we just launched the core skill course inside the community, where we go deeper and cover my 4 favorite ways to build your own custom skill. So if you're interested, you can find the link below to join. So back here, it is now reading all the brand context and building the examples. And what I like is it also runs the evaluation to make sure these skills is high quality. And if we open the project using an IDE like VS Code, we can actually see a new skill has been created under this skill folder. Now we have the brand voice skill, but that is not enough, because we also need to teach Claude how the brand looks visually. Good news is we have Claude Design Tool, which can help you set up your brand design system much more quickly and make it possible by building a reusable skill. So before we even start, I suggest you first ready some marketing assets, at least your marketing materials. So these will be useful for the extraction process. So here we have created this assets folder. Inside, we already have this brand landing page, so it contains the brand color palettes and the logos. And then go to Claude Design Tool. And by the way, I'll put the link below. So click Design System. Let's name it Carousel, which is the brand. And here you can click your GitHub repository so it can extract your design system, but we will skip this for now. Then here we can attach the project folder, which contains all the materials. And then we can also attach any logos or any additional marketing assets. And here I suggest pasting back the brand style here just to play safe, and then continue to generate. Now this process will take at least 10 to 15 minutes long from my experience. So you really want to review all your materials before you click generating. And then here it will return you all the extracted brand colors, UI mockups, components, font types, logos, and you can carefully review them one by one and import any missing materials. So perhaps maybe for this marketing site mockup, I can see the tagline is now overlapping with the background color. So I can prompt and it will make the changes. And you can also navigate to the design files view. And here you can make more granular changes by using the editor. So you can select any elements and make changes. But I found changes are hard to revert, so don't overdo it. And this whole design system is actually an exportable Claude skill. So once you're satisfied, what I recommend is actually to export this design system skill to be used in your Claude Code project. And this is what I found the biggest value from the Claude Design Tool. Now we can just open the project folder and drag the whole design system folder here, because literally it's just a Claude skill. And then paste back the versioning and maintenance control. And immediately we install this brand design skill into this project. So once we have this design system skill, we can continue to build other skills on top that will be useful for your marketing tasks, which is the function skill. And particularly for the campaign workflow, the next thing you actually need is the campaign research and planning. So this skill will save you lots of time. First, use this prompt to ask it to create a campaign planning brief skill that will use the Perplexity research tool for research and call the design system skill to build on branded slide deck and campaign brief empty file without defined sessions. And very quickly, we have the second skill created. And it is showing the step-by-step process and calling the design system skill for the slide deck building. Now let's ask it to create a campaign planning for this upcoming campaign with this timeline and budget. So it will start with Perplexity search, and now it's synthesizing data and building the presentation. So you can see the deck is following the design system skill with the brand color and fonts. And what is particularly impressive is actually the story it presents, from the KPI targets, target persona, and even this funnel mapping, which is amazing. So you can clearly see how and where we are spending marketing budget, and also the campaign roadmap. And the last line on the accountable team with the next actions is absolutely perfect as well. Bonus, if you want an HTML style, really sleek looking slide deck, you can also use the Claude design tool. So just create a new slide deck project, pick your design system, and then paste the campaign brief outline. And then it will create a deck for you, even with the speaker note. So you just build your Claude skills, and I know you're already thinking about what else you could automate. And that's actually the hardest part for most marketers, not the building, but knowing which workflows are worth turning into a skill. And that's why I put together a free resource with HubSpot called the AI Toolkit I use every week. It's a practical breakdown of how I use Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Perplexity across different marketing tasks, including the exact prompts behind each use case. And for Claude specifically, you can see the actual prompts I use for things like strategy brainstorming, data visualization, sentiment analysis. And my favorite part is the 3-question framework I personally use that tells you how I pick between these AI tools. So grab it for free in the description. Thank you HubSpot for partnering with me on this resource and for sponsoring this video. Alright, this time let's build something different. We can now base on this design system and build reusable marketing asset templates that you can use to create other marketing skills. And this is actually one of the best way I found to use the Claude design tool. This time, let's build a carousel design skill. So first, we will create a carousel post template using the Claude design tool. So we will pick prototype, name it social carousel template, pick the design system, and high fidelity, meaning we want a polished mockup that we can actually use. And then Claude will ask you lots of clarifying questions like color direction, type treatment, tweak variations, and then it will start generating the mockups. Now it will come up with the carousel design with the 3 variations I have instructed. So they're all on brand, looking pretty professional, but the text is a little bit small. So I recommend just exporting this whole project and editing on Claude Code if you like the overall direction. Then making back and forth changes, because otherwise I found Claude design will burn your token so fast. Then copy this exported carousel template folder inside your project folder templates, which will be used by the carousel skill we are going to create. So once the template is ready, we can now create a third skill. This skill will reference the carousel template we just export and propose content angle, and using the Nano Banana tool to generate a cover image, and finally export each slide into an individual image. And pretty quickly, we have this carousel design skill created. So now let's try the skills and ask it to read the campaign brief and generate the carousel. So it is calling the skill and then generating the cover image for the 3 variations. So here we have the 3 variations, and each of these are looking good and decent, and just like the carousel template we just see. And I like the cover image is using the same template we generate from the Claude design tool. And that's why it's much more important you get this template built right in the first place, because then you can always control the final quality. So in this case, I think the text is still too much. If it's for educational type of carousel, I think it's fine, but for performance marketing, perhaps shorter, punchy lines are better. But overall, this is well executed, and you can see they're also being saved as individual images which are ready to be published. So you get the idea. Build your marketing assets template on Claude design, and then use that to build skill to further automate your workflow. So carousel are static, but what if the same skill stack could generate motion as well? For a long time, I have been using Claude SVG motion graphics in some of my videos. Now using the same principle, we can create the motion engine on Claude Design tool and build your own branded motion scale. Again, on Claude Design, create a new prototype project called animated video. So make sure you pick your brand design system and then ask it to design animated videos for the product launch. Or you can think about the scenario that you're going to use the most, and then answer the question, and after some time, here is the generated motion. So it's not too bad, although it's still not like a professional grade video, but for simple marketing storytelling or to be put on the landing page as an explainer, I think this is pretty good. So this animation will serve as a core engine as we build out the scale. Again, export this project and then copy this animated video folder under the templates folder, which will be used to create the motion scale. So go back to Claude Code, and this time we'll create a new skill called Carousel animated video, which is used to generate 30-second motion video in XML format. It should always propose a storyboard before it generates, so every motion video is different and distinct enough. Now we have our motion skill ready. So let's try to create an animated video for the same campaign we just did. So it is reading the campaign brief, generating the storyboard, and creating the video, and the process took almost 15 minutes. So this is pretty good and not too bad, and tell the story with the punchy lines just like the typical storytelling video. And everything is using the same brand style, look and feel, the design system, so it doesn't feel off. And with this video, you can even embed it into your campaign landing page, so making it more engaging and interesting, and have the brand motion piece that explain your offer. So using similar approach, we have created 7 marketing skills. Of course, we can just settle here, but a big bonus to take this to the next level to further automate this is to create a campaign manager agent to orchestrate all these skills. Since Claude Code Desktop does not support the agent command, so we can first initiate a session and then click here to open the terminal view, and then initiate Claude Code and use the agent command to create a campaign manager agent. So this agent will orchestrate the full campaign workflow and call different skills we just created. After creating the agent, also update the Claude.md file to register this agent, so Claude will always know when to call this agent and the expected behavior. Now let's say we're launching another campaign about a new product feature. So I intentionally give very little detail. So the campaign manager will now ask me questions about the campaign, like the goal, budget, target audience, and then answer the details so it can start the research process and initiate the campaign brief. So first, it is building the campaign planning deck, and you can see since it is spinning other agents, so it won't take up the context of the main agent window. And then it will move on to generate the assets once the campaign has been initiated with the campaign brief. A bonus tip is, at any time, you can just click the task view and check what Claude is working on, which I found is useful. And so after almost 25 minutes, Claude came back all the deliverables for the campaign. So first, the campaign brief, and personally, I like this stack more than the one generated by Claude Design. It's just more practical, and you can just quickly edit the text. And what really impressed me is it gives you a solid starting point as you plan out your marketing campaign with all the tactics plan, channel strategy, budget allocation, and then the campaign performance tracker is also excellent. So it already has the Excel formula built-in for you, and you can just use it to build the actual versus forecast planning for your campaign. So from channel performance, content performance, to pipeline attribution. Now for the social carousel post, is also well executed, on brand, and aligned with the campaign. And although I found 2 of the slides have some overflow issues, this is where we need to improve the skill, and this still saves you lots of time. And then the animated videos also use a storyboard that matches the campaign theme with all the unbranded motion graphics. And finally, the campaign landing page with the call to action, the embedded video we just see, and everything is aligned on brand with the brand design system. So now every time when you want to design a new campaign, you can just give the details to this campaign manager and everything will follow through. So we just ran a full campaign from one brief, but right now this whole system only exists on my machine. So the next thing is to share this with the team by building a Claude Skill library on Notion. And this is where a personal system becomes a team system. So here we have the skill library on Notion. It stores the skill name, description, category, version, and the actual skill file. So remember the versioning we add to each skill earlier? So that is how Claude track the changes and keep the library on the latest version. So now we can first push and populate all the project level skills to this skill library. And now it is calling the skill library manager skill I built earlier. So it will first push a test entry and then continue with all the skill. And pretty quickly, all the skills are being populated automatically with all the detail filled in, description, category, and it will even zip all the skill files so you can just download it from the library. So now your team or clients can just browse through the full skill library, filter by what they need, and know what is available. And whenever your skills has been updated, you can ask Claude to sync the skill library, and it will scan which skill needs to be pushed. So like in this case, a version 2 of the animated video skills is available. Now we can even take a step further to set up a schedule task using the routine feature on Claude Code. So go to routines on the sidebar and create new routines on logo, and then define your schedule task name, description, and instructions. So in this case, we want Claude to check if there are any new skills that haven't been published and help us to push it to the skill library. And then pick auto mode so Claude will automatically approve lower risk action. And then select the same project folder and set it to run on every week at 9 a.m. So now you don't need to manually upload skills to this library, and this is how you scale your Claude skill value further. So start with one skill, get it working really well, then build the next one. That is how your real system grows. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. I also invite you to join our growth community. Currently, we're running the AI marketing system program where we go deeper from content setup to building AI agents, including the Claude skill course I mentioned. You can find the link below to join. I hope to see you there. And before you go, also watch these 2 videos about Claude skills and how you can use it further for marketing. I will see you next time.